a group of people involved with each other through persistent relations or a large social groupings. So, kumbaga, how do we, sa society natin, di ba? Sa states, no? Compare natin sa states. Sa society nila, pag may bagong, hindi, that's basically culture, no? Hanap pa tayo ng medyo, because there are two things that somehow intertwined here, society and culture. So there are certain terms about society, no? So yung individual, ikaw, and then your relationship to other people within your confines, no? Within your area, how you deal with them, how you react with them, how you, kumbaga, how you play around with them, play, or basically in how you evolve or involve yourself to them, no? So that is society. Now, the difference is with culture, so yung culture represents the belief and practices of a group. The society represents the people who share those beliefs. So I guess that's more, it's simpler, no? So for example, tayo, di ba? So paniniwala natin dito sa Pilipinas, no? Sa kultura natin, lahat tayo pamilya. Okay? Kaya nga dito sa compound namin, sa apartment namin, parang lahat gustong malaman ng ibang tao, no? Parang gusto niyang may ganun tayong sa kultura natin, may ganun tayong aspeto. Yung mga yung parang career na talaga nila, although nagiging chismis na iba, no? Pero that's really part of our culture, di ba? And yun, no? Yun yung sa kultura natin. Now tayo sa society naman natin, no? Paano tayo nagre-react doon, no? Ina-accept lang natin sila, tolerant ba tayo doon, or ayaw natin, no? Because in the States, no, seldom you see people, no, sa isang village na nga lang. Sa kanila naman, pag may bagong neighbors, diba, you do it properly, no? Kakatukin mo, bibigyan mo ng gifts, bibigyan mo ng pang-umong or something, diba, ng food, no, as a welcome gift, no? And then that's it. But you really don't mind them. You really don't, nagsisigawan na sila doon sa loob ng bahay nila. Nag-aaway sila, hindi mo binabaliwala mo. Dito sa atin, pag may nag-aaway doon sa kapitbahay natin, lalabas tayo, di ba? Tingnan natin, nangyari doon. Minsan, pipigilan pa natin. Mga tipo bagang ganun. You know, so basically, that's the difference. Okay, between culture and society. Okay? So, let's go back now to, so, klaro na yun, no? Yung society and tawag nito? And culture. Now, so, the next part is the self and the development of the social world. No? So, ibig sabihin, no, itong slide na to, itong part na to is how we develop together with our social world. Okay? Now, very important or very critical here in understanding ourselves is what's happening, how we here in the Philippines respond to the digital world. This is basically my topic, but medyo tinakil na to rin to. Very briefly, no, itatakil tong topic na to na social digital self. Okay, kasi this is very evident. No? This is something that is, kumbaga, you cannot avoid this anymore. No? Even lolos and lolas are expected to somehow know something about the digital world. No? The social media na tinatawag nila, yung online, no? Yung mga ganyan-ganyan. No? So, basically, talk about social media. Ito yung nakikita natin through technology, no? Kumbaga, mas lalong lumawak yung ating society, no? Dati, sa barangay lang natin. Barangay sa baryo na natin. Pilipinas. Ngayon, buong mundo na. We're not now limited only to just simply within the confines of ourselves, but through society, through this so-called digitalization, technology, no? Lumaki yung ating kinalalagyan sa mundo. Nagkaroon tayo ngayon ng no? Yung identity natin sa pamamagitan ng society, ng technology. Kaya nga ba, very seldom you find people na walang Facebook. Hindi nagti-Twitter. Okay, very few. Okay? Yung iba, may Instagram, may TikTok. Okay, nagti-TikTok sila. Ganyan, di ba? Kahit ganun lang, no? Nakikita mo yung sarili mo doon. Okay? Meron tayong identity through that. How we respond to that, how we react to that, how we use that, no, to participate, okay, in the developing world, no? So, yon, may mga tips, no, how to, okay, managing responsible online behavior, okay, so these are just tips, no? So, the self and the society, here, there's a specific definition. A society is a group of people with common territory, interaction, and culture. Now, medyo may kung titingnan nyo, may pagka-iba, no? May parang naiibang idea ngayon ito, no? Kasi, dito sa digital self, how would you differentiate now yung territory because of technology? Kasi with technology, lumalawak nga nag-expand yung ating territory and how we react to that, no? Kaya nga minsan, no, even the culture, di ba? Because of technology, nag-iiba na, di ba? Nag-iiba na. Yun, ngayon, yung mga bata, kung magsasagot na sa parents nila, sa mga adults, wala na lang because they see it. Through technology, they see it in other countries, no? Nawawala na yung gano'n. Dati, kailangan magmano sa Pilipinas, magmano ang bata sa matatanda, magmamano. Ngayon, appear na lang. Di ba? Oh. Bump. Di ba? Parang ganyan. So, because they see it, no, on TV, they see it through technology. Social group consists of people who, so now with the social group naman, now, medyo, this is something specific, no? Social group ng mga teachers, social group ng mga, may tinatawag ng LGBT community, no? So these are groups na still, no, it creates their own sort of world, no? Okay, so may likeness, okay, elements ng society, may likeness, may kakapare-pareho, no? May reciprocity. Kung ano yung ginagawa ng isa, dahil group of teachers, so, wala sila pinag-usapan kung paano magturo, mga estudyante nila, mga reaction nila sa mga estudyante nila, mga tipong gano'n. Okay, may reciprocity. Pag sinabing reciprocal awareness, diba? Yung ginagawa ko, may nagre-respond doon na naiintindihan ko anong ginagawa ko, even without detailing kung ano man yung ginagawa namin. Okay? Yung tinatawag na reciprocity. Reciprocal awareness. Okay? But then, of course, even belonging to the same organization, meron pa din naman yan tinatawag na uniqueness or individuality. But this individuality would make them as a whole. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin na iba ka, no? Iba ka lang mag-respond doon sa organization ninyo. Pero kasama ka doon. Naiintindihan mo din sila. Hindi dapat yung nagko-conflict. Nagbibigay lang yung siguro mas lalong lumalawak yung pananaw because of a different idea. No? Of course, pag totally hindi na kayo magkasundo dahil iba na yung idea mo, kaya nga nagkakaroon ng iba-ibang grupo din na kahit pareho silang teacher, pero magkaiba sila ng grupo. May interdependence, di ba? They belong to element din ng society. They belong to one group or society. Pero, hindi pa rin dapat mawala yung pagiging independent mo, yung self mo. Okay? Of course, cooperation. Yun, hindi pwede mawala yun. hindi rin pwedeng mawala ang conflict, no? Sabi nga natin, we agree to disagree. May mga terms na we agree to disagree, no? Na okay lang na mag-disagree tayo. Kasi part talaga yun so that we can grow. Hindi mo pwedeng lahat oo na lang ng oo. Hindi rin naman maganda yun. What is the relationship between external reality and the self? So, dito napapasok yung influences. Okay? Yung external reality, meron tayong idea no, sa mga bagay-bagay. Dapat, pag pamilya, buo dapat. Okay? May nanay, may tatay, sometimes may lola, may mga kapatid. Pero yung self mo, yung reality, okay, minsan, nag-iiba, di ba? May nanay, may tatay, may mga kapatid. Kaso sa inyo, nanay, tatay, ikaw lang. Wala kang kapatid. Or, may nanay, wala na si tatay. For wherever, di ba? Siguro kinuha na siya ni Lord or sumakabilang bahay na. No? Mga tipong ganun. The relationship between external reality and the self, no? Ito yung mga tinatawag, there's a keyword here in this particular slide, no? Ito yung word na intervention, no? May mga intervention. Ito yung gusto mo, ito ikaw, at ito rin yung realidad na kinakaharap mo. Okay? And how you interact with it, yun yung would define you. Doon mo mas maintindihan yung sarili mo. Di ba, may example pa nga dito, si Tarzan. Okay? So, yung story ni Tarzan is a good example of this, di ba? Yung intervention niya, yung pagiging naging anak siya ng unggoy. Okay? Dahil nga sinave siya ng unggoy. Of course, that's fictitious, di ba? But then again, di ba? That's what as a simple example of what intervention means, no? In the human reality, in external reality na meron tayong mga idea natin sa sarili natin, sa mga bagay-bagay, yung mga dapat na sinasabi natin, pero sa katotohanan, hindi So, anong relasyon ngayon itong dalawa na to? Itong ako at yung realidad, ito yung bumubuo sa atin. Sa pagbubuo nito, natututo tayo, nakikilala natin yung sarili natin. Okay? By nakikilala natin, ibig sabihin, ano ba yung mga pwede natin magawa, ano yung mga talents natin, no? Because of this so-called intervention. So, may mga different philosophical perspective na naman, no? Or theories. The social constructionist perspective argue that the self should not be seen as static entity. Okay, rather, the self has to be seen as something that is constant struggle with external reality. So, kumbaga, itong social constructionist perspective, it's a theory. Diba? Na hindi daw tayo nag-iisa sa mundo. Yung mga realidad natin, okay, doon tayo natututo, doon natin nakikilala yung sarili natin. Okay, the self is always in participation with social life and its dealings with society. Okay, so hindi pwedeng ma-detach yun. Okay? Ito yung sasabi na no one is an island, no? Parating meron kang ibang. Now, another part now is the self and the culture. Okay? Ito medyo may pagka-technical ang ang aspect, no? So, according to this French, it's French, no? So, whatever, no? So, to mouse, or, yan nandiyan. Remaining the same person and turning chameleon by adapting to one's context seemed paradoxical. So, sinasabi nitong French anthropologist na to si Marcel, okay, parang, it's a paradox of life, no? Parang, para isipan, no, sa atin na yung maging ikaw, pero maging makablend ka sa society, makisama sa society, that's something na medyo palaisipan, no, sa atin. No? Kaya nga, meron daw siyang tinatawag na persone at moi. or me. Di ba? By moi means or moi, it's moi. No? Refers to a person's sense of who he is. Sino ka daw? Pananaw mo sa sarili mo. Person's basic identity. And then the persona or persona is composed of social concept which means to live in a particular institution, a particular family, how you respond to that. Meron kang ikaw na identity mo. Pero sometimes kasi hindi natin talagang binibigay lahat, lalong-lalo na if it's outside the family, di ba? Parang meron kang persona na sinasabi. Others would say it's a defense to protect yourself. Hindi mo iniisip yun na defense, pero kumbaga, hindi mo naman totally nilalabas yung sarili mo kung sino ka, di ba? Pag sa bahay, magulo ka, madaldal ka, magganito ka, ganyan. Pero pag sa ibang kaharap mo, hindi mo kilala yung mga kaharap mo, tahimik ka lang. Okay? Ayun yung tinatawag na persona. Yung moi, dun sa bahay, ikaw yun. Yung persone, ito yung how would you react, no? To the outside world. Yung influences ng iba. So dito, mayroong discussion about yung persona natin, no? How we react in the culture in the Philippines. No? Sa iba kasing mundo, pag nasa ibang mundo daw, sa ibang planeta, sa ibang part ng mundo tayo, madali natin makilala yung mga Pilipino. No? Dahil meron tayong mga certain actuations na ginagawa na identifiable as Filipino. Okay? So, tayo daw, no? Persona of Filipino across culturally, no? So, cross-culture, nagmamano tayo. Cross-culture, meron tayong certain situation na pag nagtuturo, dun. Okay? So, cross-cultural, meron pa rin tayong certain respeto sa matatanda. Sa mga mayroong posisyon. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na utang na loob. Meron tayong tinatawag na sa Pilipinas, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na very welcoming tayo or hospitable tayo. That's why when we go to another country, still, nandun pa din yun sa atin. Sociological theory of self. According to George Mead, okay, social self includes the concept of self, me, and I. Okay. In this lesson, we will explore Mead's work focuses on the way in which a self is developed. Yung tinatawag na social self is based on the perspective that the self emerges from social interactions such as observing and interacting with others. So nakikilala daw natin yung sarili natin through how we interact with other people. Kaya nga ba itong pandemic na to, yung tinatawag na work from home, study from home, di ba? Hindi siya nakakatulong sa ating social self because very limited yung ating social interaction. Okay? Here's yung theory ni George Mead, no? The theory of the social self. Importante yung may interaction. Very superficial or mababaw kasi kung interaction may is through this one lang. No? So, hindi daw yun. Okay? So, development of self, yung language, play, and games. No? Yung language, of course, yung ginagamit ng mga lengguwahe. Mga millennials, meron sila sarili ng lengguwahe. Yung mga bading, meron sila sarili ng lengguwahe. Meron sarili by play, allowing individuals to take a different role. Yung play, hindi to laro. No? Yung play, yung tinatawag dito ay yung, okay, yung una, na sinasabi na development of self, may tatlong aspeto. May yung language, may play, at may games. Yung language, it's not just verbally, but even in yung actuations natin. That's part of language. Okay? How we react, no? How we convey. No? Yung iba kasi, katulad for example, sa Iloilo, no? Akala mo mga bakla. Pero, ang laking tao, maka-holding hand sila. Natural lang sa kanila, because that's how close they are. No? in terms of social unit, no? Pero natural lang sa kanila yun. Of course, dito sa Daet, may makakita kang parehong lalaki na malaking tao nag-holding hands, no? Iba na inisip natin yun. Sa Manila, uso lang yung nagpupulbo. Yung mga lalaki ngayon, no? Uso na yung pulbo. Pero here in Daet, mga teachers lalo na, ang tingin doon, mga bading. Kasi bakit daw nag-re-retouch? Okay? So, even that becomes a certain language, no? Language of the millennials, language of a certain group, no? Without even saying a word, no? Just by the actions, the gestures. Now, with the play here, ang tinasabi dito is yung mga roles natin. Hindi ito kaplastikan, okay, na may sarili tayong role. But basically, kasi may word dito na pretend, no? And express expectations. So, it's a negative, hindi sila parallel. But then again, it takes something about different roles. No? Ano ba yung role natin as a student? Diba? Sabi ko nga kanina, diba? Meron tayong tinatawag na social self natin, how we react to others. Pero kumbaga, it's a role that we play. Diba? Kasi sabi natin, it's not we pretend na hindi tayo. It's just that how we, kumbaga, defend ourselves or how we protect ourselves. Na, syempre, hindi naman lahat matatanggap kung sino tayo. Diba? Pero kung malakas ang loob mo, you can go ahead. Diba? But what I'm saying here is, yung sinasabi dito sa slide na to is, we have a different roles to play. Okay? Sometimes it's pretentious na nagpapanggap ka, but I think it's just being, kumbaga, it's a natural way of, self protection. Diba? Na kailangan hindi natin binibigay basta-basta yung sarili natin, di ba? Tsaka yung mga expectations natin. And then the games here develop self by allowing individuals to understand and adhere to the rules of the activity. So, kumbaga, basically, ang sinasabi ditong games, hindi yung mga laro, no? Ang sinasabi ditong games is, how would you allow certain things to happen? For example, okay, the game of by game hindi ito yung laro, no? It's a sort of a terminology used, no, to describe something na ito yung kalakaran na nangyayari. For example, pag teenager, especially mga lalaki, mga magkakasama, tropa-tropa, nag-yosi, tambay doon sa tindahan, nabili pagkatapos ng klase, nagsisigarilyo. That's one particular game. Now, would you want to play to that game? Not necessarily. Okay? So, pwedeng lumayo ka. Ikaw naman, ang game mo naman puro kain lang. Puro kain ng fishball. Yun. O ang game mo naman aral ka lang, di ba? Punta ka ng library, yun ang tambayan mo. Okay? That's the certain games that we're talking about. So, that's how we develop ourselves. Yung language natin, yung play natin, yung how we react to different roles or how we portray different roles outside our family, and then yung games, no, na nilalaro natin na pinapakita ng society natin. Kay Charles Horton naman, ito yung tinatawag naman siya, meron naman siyang looking glass self and the effects of the primary group. The looking glass self here, wait lang ha. So, basically, yung idea ni Charles Horton is yun nga, no? Yung tayo kasi, pag sinabing taga-daet, no? Yung mga expression ng taga-daet. Kasi meron tayong mga kalakaran na ginagawa na dito tayo natututo sa teritoryo natin. Okay? Or taga-Vinsons. Or taga-Labo. Di ba? Yung mga ganyan, no? So, yun yung sinasabi niya na tayo daw, yung primary group natin, doon natin nakikita yung sarili natin, yung looking glass natin. Kumbaga, there's a certain characteristic na madali kang ma-identify, madali kang makilala because of where you are or where you came from. You're from Labo. You're from Manila. Ay, Manila, tagayan. Mayabang yan, kaya ganyan yan eh. Kung ganyan yan, pumorma eh, kasi taga Manila yan. Looking glass. Doon natin daw nakikilala yung mga tao. Ay, taga Mercedes yan. Okay, taga Baso dyan. I don't want to give some description, no? Kayo na lang nakakaalam no? Pag sinabing may mga, yung ganang bagang mga expression na pag taga-Daet, pag taga-Mercedes, pag taga-Labo, taga-Binson, may kani-kaniyang characteristics na nakikilala natin, na identifiable doon. So kapag ikaw ay taga-Labo, meron kang certain characteristic na tinatawag niyang looking glass, na iyon ka dahil doon sa impluensya ng mga immediate community mo. Okay? The looking glass also is kumbaga how you interact with each other. And each day you would realize, especially pag kung sa eskwelahan niyo, di ba? Kaya nga importante rin na merong social gatherings, na merong kang namimit na ibang tao. Kasi as you go along, as you live day by day no, with other people, you would tend to realize, no, dapat maging aware daw tayo kung ano ba yung magiging reaction natin doon sa mga bagay-bagay. And because of this, ito yung tinatawag yung theory na yung looking glass. Doon natin nakikita yung sarili natin. How we react to. Hindi pwedeng makilala lang natin ang sarili daw natin through just by introspection or just by studying ourselves. May kilala daw natin sarili natin sa ibang tao. Parang paikot-ikot na lang, pare-pares na lang. Okay? So basically, that's it. No? So I hope this very short, 47 minutes discussion would help you understand, no? Kung ano ba itong discussion na to about what's this? About the self, society, and culture. Okay? So on that note, go through this if you have any clarifications. By the way, I will be extending the submission of this, no, by Monday. Okay? Monday, so lahat dapat, it has to be sent through Google Classroom, okay, by Monday. Okay? So thank you very much and have a nice day, guys. Bye.